Are we ready for the breakups? Cody wasn't ready for the breakups, but are we? I'm not sure. Hi. I'm Cozy. If you're new here, I like to snark on Sister Wives here on YouTube. It is me and usually my co-star Freckles, who is not here right now. We like to talk about Sister Wives with you guys, but I do need to remind you this video is for entertainment purposes only. These are not facts. They are just my opinions about public figures sharing their lives publicly on television. Please don't take them as facts. Cool? Cool. Okay. So, my last video, we went through the first half of the look back, which was everything prior to all of the breakups. And I know I said in that one, and I'll say it in this one, things are going to feel a little bit less natural because I am reading a lot off of my notes. A lot of you guys aren't able to see these episodes because they're only available on cable right now. I have seen some posts floating around saying that these will be available on Max and Discovery Plus after the wedding episodes air. I do not know if that's actual fact, but it is maybe a hope for some folks. So if these things sound a little bit more scripted, a little bit more read out, that's why I'm trying to give you guys as much detail as possible, just in case you aren't able to see the episodes. If you don't like that, feel free to skip it. It's okay. I'm not going to cry about it. We're still cool. If you want to be here, let's get into it. So, producers tell Mary it's time for on to the next, right? We had just seen the clip of Cody saying that he didn't care about the communication rules, that he didn't care about anybody else, the family's an obstacle to his goals. And now we're going to hop into the 2022 anniversary, according to the little description at the bottom, where Cody tells Mary she's supposed to court him. And he's like, yeah, Mary wasn't making any effort. And present-day Mary's like, that's not true. But based off of what Jen has told us in the talkback about it seeming like Robin is dodging spending time with Mary, I would guess that Cody probably also is dodging her. Frankly, I mean, okay, do we think that Mary's phone number is even in Cody's phone, or does it just pop up with numbers and he doesn't answer it because he can justify, oh, I didn't know it was you? I mean, I don't really answer numbers that aren't in my contacts, so maybe I'm projecting. Anyway, so present Mary says, this is super confusing. Because here he is saying, you're not courting me. And then the next breath he's like, but I'm not coming. What is she supposed to do with this? I agree. What is she supposed to do with it? Because if he's telling you, I'm not coming, but you should be courting me, how are you supposed to do those two things? Make it make sense. So then he gets super angry about Mary again. And he's like, every time she had a lot of blame for me. And his emotions are really making me wonder about the talkback. Because he literally just said in that last talkback, well, if Mary doesn't get bitter through this divorce. Mary? If Mary doesn't get bitter. Guys, when he said, I didn't get catfished, I didn't kick me out, I rolled my eyes so far back into my head, I'm pretty sure I could see Freckles out the other side. Just saying. He goes on to say, there's a reason I didn't trust her, and she wasn't safe. He's like, she did things that made the relationship not fixable. Okay. Well, it's nice to see that she was willing to forgive you for the things that you did too. So, after past him had an unhinged rant at what has been referred to by the Surviving Sister Wives podcast as the murder tarp date. What a terrible thing to call something. He rants about not wanting to emotionally satisfy wives. And Mary's like, if he was talking about me, he needed to say so. Babes, he wasn't talking about you alone. He was talking about Christine too. Which Christine picks up on. And she's like, he's talking about me here. And Mary. She's pointing out, and she says, why is he out here wondering why I don't leave? And then I do leave. And he's like, why did she leave? It came out of the blue. Bro. She calls him ridiculous. And she's like, instead of shining a light on him, how about hold up a mirror? Janelle's like, I think he was just tired of being responsible for all these women. He was over his covenants. And she rightly points out, they're all here because he chose plural marriage. And I kind of think that's right for her to point out. She was the first plural wife. If he hadn't chosen plural marriage, she certainly wouldn't be in this. Robin says everyone has a journey. And she's she's had to go through a period of coming to terms with people no longer wanting what they wanted originally. And Kody claims he wanted a big picture family. And I'm definitely getting a clearer image of what this code phrase means. What it really means is he wanted everyone to leave him be, never criticize anything, or he's going to use the family against them. And he claims he's so angry because this was coming after that they were saying when Cody's dead, we'll all get along great. So show a clip at Cody's mom's house, and please tell me why everything in my soul desperately wants to go and build out that shell in The Sims, like, right now. I might do it. I might try to build Cody's mom's house in The Sims. And if I do, I'm throwing it up on the gallery. But Kody actually yells out, F you. Of course, he uses the word. And then he points out that he was sacrificing pro marriage only for them to get along when he's dead. He is obviously really hurt by this. He's got tears in his eyes. And I think that this partially is because there is no way around. There's no way to really get around knowing that you're the problem when everyone around you is saying that they would be in a relationship if you weren't there. I think it's starting to break through in a really teeny tiny way, like just itty bitty cracks, that he can't blame everyone else here all of the time. And do I think mentally he's come to this realization? No, he's clearly angry and he is obviously hurt that erasing him from the equation is the answer, but he's not coming to terms with the role that he's played in it either yet. So this is the context for the get in line or get out quote. And he's like, that's where I was. He says, I was cynical. I was less angry than I am now. But he's fine. And they just got out. And it makes more sense. I can see how that would hurt. Hearing that everyone around you would be friends if you were gone, that would hurt anyone. And a lot of us have to admit that we would certainly lash out immediately if the people we cared about told us anything like that. Like, be serious. We probably would be very upset and hurt. But then also I think a lot of us would do a little bit of self-reflection. Like, why would they prefer to have a friendship without you? Why can't they do that with you around? It's the hardest part. It is so much easier to go the Kody route and just blame everyone else around you and say that you're the victim. I can't say I feel badly for Kody in the sense that I think he's the victim, but I do feel badly that he hasn't let go of all that anger yet and asked himself the hard questions, because he'd be so much better for it. After the commercial, we dive right into Christine and Cody's breakup conversation. And looking back, when she's like, why won't you let go? And he goes, whoa, that was super fake. I don't think I realized at the time, but that was like, that it doesn't even fit with what's happening. So Christine sighs with a relief and was like, that conversation was hard, but in the end, he said I could go. And she is obviously relieved and happy. And Kody was like, I'm glad she was brave enough to do it because I didn't love her. And he falls back on the I was trying to love her, it's not working out narrative. And Christine shares that it felt like she was living a half-life, trying so hard to please him and having to put herself last, behind everyone else, behind the family, behind Kody, behind the kids, behind everything. And so she says, basically all she got from that, after putting everyone else ahead of her, was Kody saying, you're a bad sister wife. And she disagrees. She says she wasn't. So Kody says Christine called him a coward because he wouldn't break up with her. And of course, he's like, I wasn't allowed. I'm the real prisoner here. Because he can't just say, hey, a word I'm not going to repeat, I'm done with you. Super great. That's super nice. Really makes me think that you're a slave to your convictions here when you say things like that. I'm just saying. But he goes on to say that the thing he should have said, which is the thing he isn't allowed to say, is I can't deal with this woman anymore. Because if you go through the church authority, they'll tell you you're stuck. And once you marry a woman, your choice is gone. Christine's like, I love that conversation because I was able to stop focusing on Kody that day. Focus on myself, focus on my kids. And that was the day that she took her life back, and she loves that day for it. So they move on to another clip and tell Robin, this one's going to be tough. They're all apparently tougher. And she's like, okay. And it turns out to be the clip where Christine's going to tell him she sold the house, aka the knife in the kidneys, which I will tell you now, husband and I, at random points of the day, something will happen that is a minor inconvenience, and one of us will just scream out, it's a knife in the kidneys over all these years, and just like do the whole Kody rant. And my favorite is to do the wasted because we make it more and more insane every time we do it. I just love it. And I know it's petty and awful, but I really can't wait to hear what these women have to say about this. Looking back, Mary especially, because I know she doesn't feel the way now that she may have felt then. I just know it. So, of course, Robin refuses to watch it again, claiming she doesn't want to have another panic attack. As someone who has a lot of panic attacks, I can tell you I wouldn't want to have one either. But that's not generally what I perceive a panic attack to look like. I could be wrong, but that's just not generally what I perceive it to look like. She's like, that was a very painful day. And so they play the part where Christine's like, I need space for now. And it's way too bad Robin refused to watch it because she missed out on seeing exactly where she could have saved her relationship with Christine. Because it went from Christine saying right now to Robin alleging she said, no, thank you, never again. And by insinuating that, I think she took away any chance that Christine would have had at forgiving her. But she also missed out on the Cody Community Theater. Because I'm sorry, dude, you literally stood up, looked for your mark, like the worst community theater performance ever, wandered off to stage right just so you could scream and exit. I was like, it was bad community theater. That's all it is. So Cody's like, that was real raw emotion. I just told you it wasn't. But whatever. He claims what set him off was Robin groveling to Christine, begging her, are you still gonna be our friend? Will you be my friend? And he's like, why do you even want to be your friend? And Christine's like, I never said it was over. I simply said I needed space for now. And she repeats, for now, just like she did then. So Janelle seems to give some insight here about what happens anytime Robin is slighted. And she's like, I'm sure you've seen it happen to the producers and probably to us too. And she's like, anytime that Cody feels Robin's been slighted, he explodes and tries to shut the entire conversation down. And so she's like, this is always about Robin. And Mary shares, she's ready to be more honest now about what she was feeling. And she's like, I was in a lot of pain. And part of that was because I felt like I was in the middle and I didn't have a place. Janelle and Christine have this fabulous relationship, and I was not in the Cody and Robin club. She's like, I wanted to have a marriage, and I felt like I had to be defensive of Cody in that moment. And she's like, truthfully, I really disagree with some of the things Christine did, and I highly disagree with some of the things Cody did. Which is a fair take to have. You're allowed to disagree with anybody who you do disagree with, love. So Cody goes back to, she asked to be in my family, and what we know of their beliefs, that seems like it's the standard. She's like, she fundamentally adjusted everything. And he shares this story that there was a woman he was courting for a long time before marrying Janelle, which is in the book. Now, allegedly, this was a 17-year-old, and that young lady backed out a week before the wedding. So take all of this with a heaping helping of salt. Okay? But he claims that after marrying Christine, the young lady still wanted to be a part of their family. And I've always understood it that she had married into a different family and moved on. I don't know. But Cody accuses Christine of shutting it down beforehand by saying, I'll never marry you if you marry her. Which you did. You just told us a million times you never wanted to marry Christine anyway. So why did you care about her opinion? Wouldn't that have been your out? So he's like, after marrying Christine, she had no interest in letting this young lady into the family. And Christine's like, no. She didn't even want to marry Cody, from what I remember. And she's like, it's a lie. It's just a lie. She wanted to know, why is this relevant to anything? She has a point. This was 30-odd years ago, long enough back that I don't think I had learned to read yet. And I did that when I was like 3. So Cody says he's going back through all of this to prove that there were sacrifices he made to love Christine. And Janelle's like, I'd have decked him for using that phrase. Christine says she knew she had Janelle's support in leaving, but when Janelle stood up and hugged her, she knew this wasn't about their relationship. She wasn't a bad sister wife. This was really about her rejection of Robin, and that's why Cody got mad. So we come back from a commercial break to another Cody outburst, and they ask if he's ready for the big fight, and he's like, F it, I'm not watching that, and throws the iPad. He's like trying to sound reasonable, and he's like, I don't want to talk about it. And he was like, it was just as bad as Christine's, and I'm not ready to admit that the same things were going on with Janelle. And he still struggles to admit that he and Janelle were not good together. She's not a loyal wife, and he's probably a crap husband. And I'm like, okay, I really, really, really want to force Cody to define terms like we're on a debate stage, because what does loyalty mean to him? And he's like, we're not working out anymore, and I don't want to talk about it. So President Janelle smiles and laughs a little at the fight clips. She even rolls her eyes at herself at one point. The clip ends with the door slam and she smiles and goes, yeah, what an ass. And I have no fear of using that because that's a donkey. Anyway, she says it started out that he was adamant that the boys apologized for their behavior during COVID. And then it became a conversation with Robin's prompting. And she still points out that it would have needed to be an apology to even start that conversation. And Christine's like, as a parent, you need to be the most adult in the conversation at all times. You're forever the parent. And Janelle's like, in Cody's perfect world, I'd have stood with him against the children, and I'm not doing it. And so when she won't, he loses it. And she's like, the conversation still hasn't happened. The only child that he seems to have any small amount of relationship with is Garrison, and even that appears to be almost nothing because there's no reconciliation. She's like, this fight, I'm not wanting Cody in my life anymore. And I'm not wanting him at my house. And I don't care if I ever interact with him again at this point. Everybody take a breath. We've been through the initial stages of the Mary breakup. We've been through the Christine breakup. We've been through Janelle. And now we're getting to Mary. And Cody's like, I don't want to see this either. Because he obviously knows this is the Mary breakup. So Mary in the past calls him out for being capable of loving her. And he says, of doing my duty. Or performing my duty. And present Mary snort laughs at him. And girl, I wish you'd have done that to his face in the moment. Because I snort laugh. And I'd have been like... all over the place, just saying. So, yes, that is really what it sounds like when I laugh. I had forgotten how confrontational Robin was when she was like, I was hanging on with you. She even interrupts Mary to say it. I completely forgot about it. But like, good Lord, girl, not everything is about you. And Mary's like, I wish you would take some sort of accountability and be like, I did love you, and I loved you as much as I could, but then I realized I didn't. And then we can leave it at that. Because it's not fair for them to sit here, for her to sit here and have him be in this relationship with Robin while she's stuck in the shadow's edge, never having an emotionally fulfilling or intimate relationship ever again. And that's not fair. And Cody's like, I was a little harsh, and goes into allege that Mary beat the love out of him in their first year of marriage. He does not clarify. And I'm not going to speculate. I refuse. I'm not doing it. He says from the beginning they had a lot of problems they couldn't fix. And he didn't know what to do because divorce was an option. So his only option was to dilute their relationship and get a new wife. And he says, I need a new wife because I can't spend all of my time with her. And Mary's like, it's interesting to her that he says that, Mary's like, it's interesting to her that he says this isn't what he wants because why didn't you try for something else? And Cody's like, I didn't want the family breakup. I didn't want the failed marriages. I didn't want the dysfunction over the last 20 years. And Mary's like, he seems like a different person to the Cody 10, 12, 14, 20 years ago. 14 years ago was when the show started, which would be about the same time that he married Robin. So that's an interesting number to choose, but okay. She's like, I'm not willing to be married to this person. And hence she is not. So Robin watches herself sobbing and literally makes the Amber Heard I stepped on a bee face in the picture-in-picture, you know, okay, that face. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. Cody's like, there are no victims in this family other than the victims of our own choices and mistakes. Okay. He says it's sad, and sadness makes him angry. But it's all right. It's over, and they'll be okay. And I think, personally, the we he's talking about here is just Robin and him. And I am going to read this part to you verbatim because it's very important. So Robin's like, we screwed up so bad, all of us. And she says it's so dumb what they let happen to their family. And these are the list of reasons she gives as to why their family is over. We didn't communicate. We weren't looking at each other with charity and love. We weren't following our mission statement. We let the ease of living apart drive us apart from each other. We let COVID drive us apart. We held on to our grudges, and we didn't let them go. We let fear drive us. We let jealousy drive us. We let selfishness drive us. We failed, and we are all going to have to live with that. And that's where they end the whole episode. And I'm not gonna lie, that ending gave me chills because it's just so final of a way to end that chapter. Especially then they show us the trailer again for Christine and David's wife, and it's just wedding. Christine and David's wedding, and it's just super intense the way that you have these two things side by side. You have the wedding, which is so exciting and so happy, and everyone's so happy for her, juxtaposed with Robin listing all the reasons that they failed. Wow. It's wild to me. It's intense, it's wild, it's crazy. I don't know what else to say. I don't. But that was the look back part 2. That was all the breakups. And I don't know that I've taken away anything else super special from this other than knowing that I don't think that Kody will ever forgive them for essentially making him look like the fool. I don't know that he will ever let that go. And frankly, I don't know how much longer Robin will hold on to that. She looks miserable. She looks unhappy. She looks sad. And I think she probably deeply is struggling, if I'm being honest. But that's really it. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking forward now to Christine's wedding episodes. I'll be coming back to talk to you guys about some different things. You guys have asked some really great comments or questions in the comments, and I cannot wait to answer some of them with videos. Because that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So look for some shorter videos throughout the week as we lead up to Christine's wedding. I'll be coming to you to let you know about anything I read in the articles, all that kind of stuff. And if I do build Cody's mother's house in The Sims, I will throw it up on the gallery for you. The name is exactly the same as it is on here. It's just Cozy Gaming Mom. If you're a simmer and you want to see what I do, just know a lot of the builds I do are challenge builds with my children. So they are not great. I let them pick things because we play together. That's how we do around here. Yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see. I guess allegedly, supposedly, if you say like or subscribe at the end of your video, the buttons are supposed to light up. I'm going to test the theory. I did it in my other video too. I want to see if it really happens. Like, I'm sincerely going to watch this back just to see if that actually happens. I'm super stoked about it. But if you do want to leave a like or subscribe to the channel, feel free. I'll be here all the time. As soon as we're done with Christine's wedding, we are hopping into our rewatch. I'm thinking maybe for 2,500 subscribers, I might do a Q&A. I would say an Ask Me Anything, but I have a lot of things I won't answer. So, like, where do you live? Can we hear about your kids? No and no. It's not for me to get rid of my own or their privacy, frankly. But yeah, I'm thinking for 2,500 subscribers, we'll do a Q&A, and I'll open up a post to the community tab where you guys can leave your questions. We'll see if anybody wants to do that. So I'm super stoked. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye, guys.